It was just a pleasure. Where are you? I see you. No? I'll see you soon. She's a member of the Republican Party and a strong supporter of President Donald Trump, whom we all know quite well. First elected to the U.S. House of Representatives in 2020, she succeeded Congressman Phil Rowe and won re-election in 2022 and 2024. A member of both the Freedom Caucus and the Republican Study Committee, she is the only woman in Tennessee's congressional delegation. Yes, we need more of you. Pleasure to introduce this lovely lady to you now.
I may get your microphone out in a minute to walk around. Can you see me from behind the podium? Listen, it's great to be here, and I want you to know this from the bottom of my heart, and I say this every time I talk. It's one of the greatest honors of my lifetime to be your representative to the United States House of Representatives, because you should never do this job unless you are called of God to do it. And I agree with everything that my colleagues have said tonight. You know, Tim and I are buddies, and there's some fun stuff that we do in that Conservative Opportunity Society that we get to hear speakers that nobody else does. They don't invite them to the conference to speak. And we learn things that we would never learn if we didn't go to that. And Monty's right, and so is Bud. There's so many things under fire. It'd take me all night just to tell you some of the things that we're working on. But look, we live in the second greatest district in the whole country, ladies and gentlemen. People are moving in because they want to come to the land of the free. And if you are, how many of you are not from here, but you chose to come live here? Raise your hand. So you see, this happens in every one of my counties. And Lordy, you know, even in Hancock, I'm like, there's no good way in or out. And if anybody's here from Hancock, you know what I'm talking about. No disparity there, but they either got to be in the witness protection program or they're desperate to leave a blue state. And I love Hancock. So, you know, being a conservative district does not save this country, but voting like one does. And you know, I tell everybody, I've told my son when he got elected to the state senate, I said, you better be able to defend every vote that you take and tell your constituents and the people who elected you why you voted that way. And yes, I can defend my votes. And I listen to you. I go out and talk to you. You call me. And so I want to make you proud, but I want to save this country. And I'm telling you, we're on the cusp. You know, primaries decide who governs you, and general elections will decide how far they can go. And it matters who governs in every spot in local, state, and federal governments. And you know, this is the 250th anniversary of our great country. And you know, our freedom wasn't guaranteed. And we had many generations who fought for that freedom. And I always taught my son, I said, you be good to those veterans, because every time one of them passes away, it's like a library closes. And they will not get to tell the stories that they have. And pinning over 5,000 Vietnam era veterans and listening to some of the Afghanistan and Iraq War veterans and even Korean and World War II veterans, it's an honor to listen to their stories, because that's what made America, America. It is a bastion of freedom and opportunity and self-governance. And it's the greatest country the world has ever known. And we want to keep it that way. What I want to tell you is what's really at stake. If you only knew what we had done. I didn't get off the floor and out of some meetings last night until way after 9 or 10, and you start your day before 7. There's a lot going on in this country. There's a lot of things I could tell you, a lot of things I can't tell you, but what's really at stake is the direction of our country. All you have to do is turn the news on and look at what happened in New Jersey. Look at some of the even far left progressives that are beating the leftist Democrats. Listen, they want to grow government beyond recognition. They want to weaken our borders. They want to take our freedoms, rewrite our values. And if you don't think it can reach us here, it already has. I just got a report that the protesters are over at the garage right now, protesting what we're standing here for freedom and preaching to save our country. And they're over there saying, you're a bunch of bigots. And you know, the only thing standing between what we know as America and what we want it to become is you. Is you getting out to vote. It's your voice, your vote. And I'm going to give you a hard truth. Do you know what the greatest factor to saving our country is? It's low turnout. Second reddest district in the whole country, and I have some of the lowest turnout in 95 counties. You know why? Apathy. You all think it can't happen here. You think it'll be okay, we'll have a Republican, don't worry about it. That's why I moved there. That's exactly what some of these other states thought too. Look at Texas. It can absolutely happen, ladies and gentlemen. So here's my challenge is don't just vote. You lead, you call your neighbor, you call your friend, call that person that says, my vote don't count, go get them. I have my friend Marionette Miller-Meeks that won by 6 votes. It matters. Your vote matters. And when you push that button, you better look at your voting record. Make sure they're conservative because we're that close to losing our country. They're optimistic about the midterms, and look, I love our speaker. Mike is a good man. He's a godly man. And I'm honored that he trusts me to give him wise counsel. He's got a big job. Marla knows. She was married to the president, for heaven's sakes. He's a hard man to handle. And I'm just saying, you know, my anniversary day, and I am married 44 years to my husband, Bob, back there. Yeah, baby. What was that joke a minute ago about, somebody said something about being married. Tim, did you say a joke about being married? Somebody did. I told Bob, I said, yeah, you better. But anyway, I said, it's no different. They're like, how do you talk to the president? How do you interact with him? I said, well, God, it's just like talking to Bobby. He always says no. You can't get it, you can't do it. And you got to have an act in order to get him to yes. And that's what we do. You know, the president's a smart man, but he wants to know why you think the way you think. And I like the fact that Mike has a favor of God on him to where he can go in and he can counsel the president with wise counsel. So I said all that to say this. I served with Tim. I served with John. I know Monty's a good man. I love to hear you talk about the Constitution. So is Bud. So is Rusty. Listen, we're in the fight of our lives, ladies and gentlemen. And if you want to grow this party, don't keep telling these young people you don't need them. When they turn 18, they need to be able to vote. Welcome them into the fold. Don't make it harder than it should be. And just continue to pray. Pray like you never have prayed, because freedom isn't free. And we got to go back Monday and start the battle all over again. And I'll start doing my coffees with the Congresswoman again after the election because of all the national security threats and things like that. They told us not to do it. That's why you hadn't seen a lot of me. And I had knee surgery last week, but I'm still hopping. Look, it matters who governs. Do your due diligence. And all I can say is God bless you. And God bless Tennessee. And God bless the United States of America.